They may see the process of training a team in-game as an unnecessary time sink reserved for more casual gameplay. No, casuals don't even know what an IV is. Well, I mean, they've gotten better with that over the years. If you go back to, like, Generation 6, Generation 5, and earlier, yeah, like, you told someone, like, yo, do you EV train? And they say, yeah, I have a Vaporeon. A story in 3 parts. Here's why most top-level players gen their Pokemon in VGC. DQ'd 2-0 at Worlds. Anyone else down to go on strike this upcoming season? Now, the craziest thing about this first post is that it goes back to July, a month before the World Championship and right after the North American Internationals. So what I want to do is I wanted to go through this thread and see how it holds up now that we saw tons of players getting disqualified at Worlds for cheating, a lot of players losing their Pokemon and complaining about it hindering their success at Worlds, also ending with the World Champion getting caught cheating once again. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and comment your thoughts down below. First, for clarity, my aim is strictly to impartially shed light on why genning is such a common phenomenon in competitive Pokemon. And that's the thing, like, all the VGC players say, yeah, everyone cheats, or 99% of VGC players cheat at the top level, you have to. And then once the disqualifications started coming in, people were talking about how, oh, VGC is inaccessible, competitive Pokemon's inaccessible without hacking, without cheating the game, and you can't compete without it. But what I've been saying for the last decade is that you can't compete without cheating, and it gives a massive advantage, so something needs to be done about cheating. But I'm in the wrong, and now they're like crying and they demand respect after getting caught cheating. It doesn't make sense. Also, this person helps Pokemon players learn and improve at VGC through coaching, community, and a course. So now we can see why they were claiming to be impartial, because they have money in the game, and you can't be like, hey, I'm a top VGC player offering coaching, I hack and gen my Pokemon. It's so weird how, like, open the secret is, and how much people are just admitting to it because they know the director of esports, Chris Brown, isn't going to do anything about it. Oceania International Champion admitting to cheating and telling players how to get around the hack check for upcoming events, followed by the director of esports for Pokemon. It's weird how so many top-level players and champions keep getting caught cheating. It's almost like hacking Pokemon gives you an advantage and it's impossible to compete otherwise. And then there's threads being made about it. And then when they're held accountable, there's just non-stop crying about Pokemon legality. My interest is in informing the community as an insider who knows how the competitive scene generally operates. And here's another problem, that it's all nepotism, it's all a clique. If the right people like you, such as Cybertron, Scott Glaza, or Chris Brown, you're allowed to cheat in Pokemon, and none of the top players are going to accuse anyone else of cheating because they're cheating themselves. So we have instances like this, someone that qualified for Worlds, went 2-0, got disqualified for cheating, offering coaching services, saying that they're an insider, talking about how prevalent genning is with the top level players. So my interest is in informing the community as an insider. No, if you wanted to inform the community as an insider, if you were legitimate yourself, then you would be outing all the known cheaters and you would have the receipts. Who knows how and this is also like, oh, I know how the competitive scene generally operates. So I've been calling this out. I'm like, yeah, it's obvious that everyone's cheating. And now we can just kind of go back. Like, Generation 5, of course, everyone was cheating. Generation 6, 7, you know, maybe there was a bit more of a push for legitimate play. So some of them, no, absolutely, none of them were legit. I mean, even Sejun Park is a hacker. Competitive Pokemon's more accessible than ever, but we still can't find a legitimate player anywhere in the scene. And then they get disqualified and complain about cheating anyways. So, yeah, not to provide my opinion on the issue. Well, that's because your opinion is that people should be allowed to cheat, and if you can't cheat, then you need to boycott once caught for cheating. And you can't publicly state that, or at least you couldn't before this Worlds, because that's taboo. That said, the biggest reason genning is so common is because the vast time investment required to acquire legitimate Pokemon in-game. So admitting that it gives an advantage, because time is an advantage. If you have more experience and practice over the opponent, you have an advantage over the opponent. If you have more resources than your opponent, in this case usable Pokemon, or access to Pokemon, you are going to have an advantage. So it's so stupid how no one is allowed to admit Verlisify always right, even though I've always been right about this, and now they're saying the quiet part out loud. They're admitting it, but you can't give anything to Verlisify no matter how right he's always been. A competitive VGC team typically requires some combination of breeding, soft resetting, EV training, acquiring terror shards, and relevant items. Breeding isn't relevant this gen, so you can just prove this dude's a cheater right here. I mean, we could have, like, gone back, reviewed this thread, and then figured out, like, oh, if there's any punishment, this dude's gonna be the first to get disqualified. For your average competitor who lives a balanced lifestyle with school, work, social, and familiar responsibilities, this likely means finalizing your team days in advance with no room for changes. So admitting the other advantages that hacking gives in Pokemon. I'm just trying to go with the easiest to understand. You don't need any more argument. Time is an advantage. There's also intangibles like energy. It is exhausting to spend the dozens to hundreds of hours to constantly get legitimate Pokemon. When you finally make the team, you're going to be mentally exhausted, so you're going to have to put off practice, or you're going to be getting less efficient practice with that team. Yeah, but here's the thing. Pokemon is no different than any other form of competition. Olympians, like you think, oh, someone that's going to be competing for the United States in the Olympics, they have everything handled. They got sponsors, they have a team, they have like grants and everything funded for them because the Olympics are such a big thing. No, they are training for the Olympics, which takes way more time investment, way more money investment, way more work than becoming a competitive Pokemon player while having a family, while having a day job or a job on the side that they need to fund this extreme thing they're doing to become an Olympic athlete. Or they are also in college, or they have college job, and then every other waking moment is spent for that Olympic dream. And it's not just sports. It's other esports, it's other games. You think, oh, chess is one of the most accessible things ever. I grab a board, I read a couple of tutorials, and then I just play and play and play until I'm eventually a master, and if I'm gifted enough, a grandmaster. No, to become a grandmaster, you gotta spend $100,000 potentially. You also need to spend 20,000 plus hours of practice and training. You also have to give up some opportunity cost somewhere. Pokemon's no different if you want to be the best in any game, sport, esport. So school, work, family, social responsibilities, yeah, for anyone else that's trying to be competitive anywhere else, they have to sacrifice on those things, or they have to work harder than others to become a top level player. Pokemon's no different. Additionally, enforcement against ginning by the Pokemon Company is fairly perfunctory. Yes, that's because of the corruption at the Pokemon Company International that I've been talking about for over a decade. But you want the easy way. You want the cheating out so you don't have to do any work. So, same with everyone else in VGC, so they don't call it out. They don't talk about the problems. They don't talk about other cheaters. They just cheat themselves because it's the easiest way to get to the top. As long as your Pokemon is tournament legal, no unnatural stats or moves, that's just a straight up lie. There's no such thing as a tournament legal hack. There's no such thing as tournament legal rule breaking. It's in the rules that if a Pokemon is modded in any way, even if it has natural stats or moves, it is against the rules. It is no longer a legal Pokemon. It's the idiotic lie that everyone that supports cheating is forced to regurgitate. Anyone that's called a genned Pokemon legal is a cheater. That is a fact at this point. Again, going off of how much admitted cheating, how much confirmed caught cheating, and how everyone's talking about cheating just being a big thing inside of Pokemon. That if you call a hacked Pokemon legal because of stats or moves, you're just a cheater yourself, because you know nothing about Pokemon legality, and you're just lying so you can get away with cheating. Nor shows any obvious signs of ginning, such as having an original trainer named PK Hex. But that's now in conflict. It's well known that the vast majority of top players gen for the reason above. See, like, that's the thing, it's well known. Everyone inside of VGC is admitting it. People that claim to be impartial are just cheaters themselves. But when I point it out, I'm wrong. That's impossible. Wolf is a confirmed cheater. WolfeyVGC caught multiple times with multiple hacked Pokemon of every flavor. We have the impossible odds of having 2 event-only Raichu that were discontinued with 1 in 25 million odd soft reset that he got a month before Pokemon Worlds 2016. Straight up hacked Moltres, also a hacked Groudon and Incineroar. Yeah, Hat Groudon and Incineroar for the 25th Anniversary Invitational. Also, Wolf having a completely impossible to obtain Dream Ball Raichu with an Egg move in Generation 6, because Dream Ball Pikachu only existed as a male-only event, and you couldn't breed the balls as a male back in Generation 6. So, every flavor of hacking from Wolf. And the entire Pokemon community is forced to lie or be hypocritical about it, or else the entire thing comes crumbling down, and then their worst nightmare becomes real. Verlisify was right. The good news is that Jinning doesn't actually provide any competitive advantage in tournament. That's a lie. If it doesn't give an advantage, then why is everyone doing it, and why is it only cheaters winning? A properly trained legitimate Pokemon is indistinguishable from a legal Gen 1. Someone taking steroids and pissing clean is still cheating. Additionally, Jinning is highly accessible and easier to do than ever. That's a lie. Having to use unauthorized third-party means is not highly accessible, and even if it was, that doesn't make rule breaking okay because cheating is accessible. Players wanting to follow the rules are at a disadvantage. Also, if it doesn't give an advantage, then why are you running so much cover for breaking the rules? Your average player can simply join one of the many Jinning Discording servers where trade bots are ready to receive their orders for the exact Pokemon they're looking for. I would call it ironic that this guy got disqualified from Worlds as well as countless other VGC players, but irony is about something unexpected happening. So yeah, you take this coach's advice and then you get disqualified because it turns out you're not allowed to cheat, and trade bot Pokemon are the most risky as well. So actually, no, this guy's just, it's even crazier than that. Because if you are experienced, so like if you're with the in-crowd and you have a team of really quality cheaters, you actually have less of a chance of getting caught, which means more of an advantage through cheating, because it's actually not that accessible, and it's still really risky to break the rules, as you learned. Wolf Glick has been caught cheating so many times, he is forced to commission the most elite cheaters to never get caught again. So no, top players and new players alike are capable of accessing these resources if they choose, except there's actually layers and advantages to better levels of cheating. There is no significant resource gap between them that is imposed by Jinning, except this ignores that cheating is against the rules. If an athlete wants to use steroids, they're not going to have accessibility issues for getting those steroids. That doesn't make steroids okay, just because anyone can use them. Despite the fact that Jinning doesn't provide a competitive advantage in actual battles, and this is the other lie, that they have to twist the word so much by saying like, oh, it's only in battle. But that ignores the entirety of Pokemon. That's not only what you do on the field in sports, that there's coaching, there's training. Your diet even has a massive impact on how you perform. You will never find two competitors or athletes that are perfectly identical in every way because it's about what happens leading up to that. There's banned substances that don't increase your strength like steroids and only increase your training efficiency or recovery time. But they're still restricted because it gives you a competitive advantage even though it's not making you physically stronger. There still exists a palpable tension in the Pokemon community over the fairness of this preparation method. That's because rule breaking is unfair by definition, and Jinning is not a preparation method, it's straight up cheating. Some players believe that Pokemon collection and training process is an integral part of the competitive challenge, because it's literally stated to be that in the rules. Others would argue that the point of VGC is developing team building and battle strategies and executing those strategies well. Yes, with legal Pokemon. They may see the process of training a team in-game as an unnecessary time sink reserved for more casual gameplay. No, casuals don't even know what an IV is. Well, I mean, they've gotten better with that over the years. If you go back to, like, Generation 6, Generation 5 and earlier, yeah, like, you told someone, like, yo, do you EV train? And they say, yeah, I have a Vaporeon. Breeding is a competitive element of Pokemon. Again, as supported by the rules and disqualifications. We won't take a side in this debate. Yeah, that's because you're a cheater, and it really makes you look... And see, that's actually, like, the other thing. If they admit that they're a ginner or pro-ginning or pro-rule breaking, then that makes their argument look bad. But if they're forced to lie about it, that also makes their argument look bad. There's no way to spin an argument for cheating in any competitive discipline. I don't understand how Pokemon is the only sport, esport, or game where cheating is so heavily defended and supported. Cheating is wrong. The most basic things you have to do as a person is you don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal. But most of the Pokemon community, and 99% of the competitive Pokemon community, struggles with this most basic morality. It's insane. Potential solution would be for Game Freak to release a Battle Revolution style game that has battle-ready Pokemon. So the official Pokemon Showdown, the official Pokemon Battle Simulator. I mean, that's only a solution if every previous cheating player gets banned, and it's obvious why Game Freak doesn't want to do this, or make it like a battle simulator, because they want you to work for competitive. That is why the rules are the way they are. That is why we've only seen quality of life changes, instead of them just handing us competitive-ready Pokemon, because the developers believe that each Pokemon is special. They're actually, like, on that. The developers, through their actions, have shown that Pokemon collection and training is an integral part of competitive Pokemon, even. That you are a Pokemon trainer. Training is all elements of Pokemon, and the developers stick to that philosophy. Which further proves the massive corruption of the Pokemon Company International, because the event is held in Japan, and then we see a record amount of disqualifications. So where cheating is detectable and caught by the developers, zero tolerance get disqualified. Actually, no, zero tolerances get banned, but very low tolerance get disqualified for cheated Pokemon. So people go after Game Freak for quote-unquote not enforcing the rules, which is also a point that's made earlier in this thread, but it's not Game Freak. Game Freak is against cheating. All of their actions are for being a Pokemon trainer and for Pokemon being special and having to work for your competitive inside of Pokemon. It's all the other weird stuff that's going around the corruption of Pokemon Company International, obfuscating how big the cheating problem is, again, because it all comes crumbling down, and even players like this guy who get caught cheating admit that everyone's cheating. We hope we could better illuminate why ginning is a common practice. No, you're either a cheating scumbag, or you know cheating is wrong. There's not going to be any common ground or crossover between that. As well as properly inform you on what exactly it entails, so you are better empowered to make the right decision for you. Ah, yes, getting empowered to then go on Discord TradeBot and get disqualified at Pokemon events, because that's the right decision for you. And there was so much empowerment in just all the lies in this thread. Either way, this post proves me more right than I could have ever imagined, because even I need to take a step back from some of the crazy thoughts. It's hard to think that everyone that has ever even soft defended ginning is a cheater. But that's proven by like all disqualifications, all the ignorance we've seen around gameplay, that these people don't even understand getting a legal Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield when it's the easiest and most accessible it's ever been. They were talking about breeding legendaries in 2016. They're talking about breeding Golden Goes in 2023. They've actually never obtained a legal Pokemon in their entire time playing VGC. And anyone that said, I don't cheat, but is actually a cheater themselves, that's just straight up lying. Over the years, I've said things like a majority of VGC players cheat, and over 90% of competitive Pokemon are hacked. And it just feels crazy to push that to a higher number. But no, like over 90% of all VGC players are cheating. And thinking about it, you actually have to give credit to all the corrupt people working at the Pokemon Company International, because it's this bad of a problem, and they've been keeping it from falling apart. That's why we need to put on the pressure, keep sharing, retweeting, commenting, making sure everyone knows how big the problem is, so it cannot be ignored any longer. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.